Episode 9 is set to include a total of 8 new characters by writer and director J.J. Abrams in this story. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that a lot of fans, including myself, am really looking forward to seeing in this movie has all to do with exactly how J.J. Abrams is going to have both legacy and sequel trilogy characters act together on the big screen. We're talking about Luke, Leia, and Lando having scenes with, of course, Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley as both Rey and Kylo Ren, etc. Now, one character that I gotta say that I'm truly looking forward to out of the 8 new characters is, of course, the character codenamed Mara, being portrayed by Keri Russell. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art, and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with 2 set designs that will include both Mark Hamill, Adam Driver, and Keri Russell. Specifically, Mark Hamill and Keri Russell are set to shoot a sequence together of what's being described as an emotional moment for the two. Both will be placed in front of a large structure with Luke's X-Wing as part of the set, with R2-D2 on top of the ship. It's said that both Mark and Russell will exchange crucial dialogue that will have a big role in the plot of Episode 9. Meanwhile, Adam Driver is preparing to shoot a scene where he is said to be surrounded by a body of fire by use of pyrotechnics. The sequence is said to be a part of the 3rd act for the film. Adam will also be instructed to act in a scene in which he will have an injury to his leg. It's described to mimic a lightsaber wound. Additionally, Driver will also act in a scene where he will be getting shot by Resistance fighters and is described as a moment where he is away from his lightsaber, where he will be forced to make certain gestures to emulate Kylo using force pushes, pulls, and other forms of powers. So I really want to go over a couple of parts about this that are really raising my interest for this movie, not just when it comes to Kylo Ren, but also when it comes to both Luke Skywalker and Mara. And that's the real shocker here, is that we do know that they both have scenes together, both Keri Russell and Mark Hamill. Now, could this be a part of a flashback sequence? For all we know, Keri Russell could very well be one of Luke's Jedi Knights that now joined the Knights of Ren in order to perhaps go on a different adventure or a different path in the Star Wars franchise. For all we know, this could very well be a flashback between both Luke and Mara, or it could also be a Force Ghost sequence between himself and the character of Mara being portrayed by Keri Russell. But what really gets me is that there's going to be these crucial parts of dialogue that are going to have a big effect on the Episode 9 plot between these 2 different characters. So now a lot of people are thinking, maybe they are indeed, the Luke and Mara that everybody knew and loved in the EU/Legends material, but I still feel like it's not going to be that. I feel like it may be something completely different. For example, it may be Luke's Jedi Knight before she turned to becoming the Knights of Ren or something around those lines, or she could just be a random character that knew Luke Skywalker in the past and is informing Rey or some of the heroes or maybe even Kylo Ren about him. Now, the next thing that I do want to go over is the Adam Driver sequences in which he's going to be surrounded by a body of fire, in which he's going to have a little injury to his leg. Nothing too significant, but enough to actually make him walk a little different there, having difficulty walking. So this is actually described as a lightsaber wound to his leg, and most likely a break between the lightsaber duel between both Kylo Ren and Rey. Now, the thing that really gets me is how there's a sequence in which he will be getting shot at by Resistance fighters when he's away from his actual lightsaber hilt, where he's actually forced to go into a position where he will be using various types of force powers like force pushes, pulls, and other forms of that. So this most definitely lines directly up with what we heard a couple of days ago about Adam Driver experimenting and kind of doing these different moves and different gestures in order to really act in a way where he's using the Force without the actual use of his lightsaber. Something that we haven't necessarily seen too much of, right? In The Force Awakens, yes, we saw him push Rey into a tree. We also saw him using the Force Stasis ability, where he actually was able to hold a blaster mid-air. So we're going to be able to see more Force powers by Kylo Ren going up against the Resistance in this sequence by Adam Driver himself. But like I say, the more exciting thing about all of this is how both Mark Hamill and Keri Russell have scenes together, and this most definitely lines up with what we heard not too long ago, that both Mara and Luke have a connection in this movie. Again, Mara is just a code name of the character in this film, it's not the final name, so for all we know, this new character name could be completely different than what we are hearing right now for episode 9. But let me know what you guys think. What do you think is really going on here between both Luke and Mara? Why is Keri Russell on the set with Mark Hamill, where there's an actual X-Wing in the background, and there is an actual structure? Sounds like a Jedi temple to me, or maybe even the same exact one that we saw in The Last Jedi. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.